Well, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Now, today on the table in front of us, we have a new knife to the channel, although, again, like many of my recent knives, it's not an entirely new knife to the world. This is the VDK Talisman. Now, I have a small VDK collection. I have the Vice and the Impaler, and I love both of them very much. I was really excited to get my hands on this one. This is M390. It is all titanium. It is just a gorgeous knife. Now, you may notice there's a lot of color on here. That's not really my thing usually, but the teal's not bad, although I'm going to fix it. This thing will be a little less colorful by the time I'm done with it. But that's the nice thing about anode titanium. You can do whatever you want with it, which brings us to the point where the pivot is titanium, the thumb studs, screws, and this backspacer are all titanium, as well as the pocket clip, which means that I can turn them gray or blue, I think maybe even purple. I'm not really sure where I'm going to go yet, but we will see. Now, I love Vlad's designs. This one in particular, of course, you guys know I love a good compound grind. And this is a good compound grind. It is very thin behind the edge, a little thicker up here at the tip. It is very comfortable in hand. Now, this happens to have been made by We. And you know, We makes excellent knives. They just do. And in fact, the stuff that they do, their OEM work, is some of the best around. Now, of course, you gotta love the designs for that to be true. And I love this design. I really, really do. So, what do you get? Well, as I said, you get a really beautifully ground M390 blade. You get marvelous fit finish on the titanium. This one, as you can obviously see, is all black washed out. It's not a big knife, but it is very comfortable in my hand, which is a really nice feature. Let's take a look at the blade length, shall we? Yep, I'm going to move that over here. So you get 1, 2, 3.5 inches. 1, 2, 3, excuse me. I know how to count. 1, 2, 3 inches of cutting on just at 3 inches of M390. The overall knife is 7 3/4 inches long, so it's not a huge knife, which is very nice. You get a very generous sharpening choil here, which also works to choke up, although you are kind of close to the edge, so you're going to want to be careful if you do that. The pocket clip has excellent ramp, good spring, and it's got good space. You really can fit even really thick work pants in here. I have enjoyed having this very, very much, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. Let's do some size comparisons just for fun. Here it is against the Benchmade bug out. If we line up the tip of the blade here, as you can see, the Benchmade bug out is considerably shorter, although you don't get a whole lot more cutting on the VDK. Like I said, it's not a huge knife. Let's put it up against the ZT-0562, which is a really good analog, of course, for the Hinderer XM18. And as you can see, it's in between the two. In fact, it's a good mid-size. It really, really is. It's not a huge knife, but it is comfortable even in my larger hands, which is a very, very nice feature. Let's measure out the blade stock just for fun. And there we go. It is not terrifically thick blade stock. If we grab it back here, I hope you guys can see that. We're outside. So it is 3.85 millimeters thick, which is not bad, but that means, particularly at this hollow grind, it is razor sharp and really thin behind the edge back here. The handle comes to a nice, if we go to the thickest point, just over a ½ inch. I hope you can see that. What that means, though, particularly because of how nice and tall it is through here, is that it's really a good handful. And this beautiful thumb ramp right here means that when you are planted on this thing for push cuts, it is not going anywhere in your hand. Further, because of this beautiful design, it's really good for draw cuts. This is a really excellent working knife that also happens to be beautiful, and I like that quite a bit. Let's take a look at the weight. Well, we've got the, while we're out here doing this. Coming in at just under 5 ounces at 4.9 ounces. Again, it is not a lightweight, but it is a good weight. It's just a good carry. Now, you'll notice there are thumb studs. They are completely usable. They are a little bit into the cutting path, which is not my favorite thing in the world. This is one of those times where I wish they would have picked. I wish it was either thumb studs or flipper. It doesn't need to be both. Although, having multiple forms of deployment, as you know, I'm a fan of it. I think it's fun. I think this knife would have been better as just a straight flipper. But that's just me. And that's my only sort of, The rest of this thing, look at the milling on these scales. Look at that shaping. It is so well done and so comfortable. This thing is an absolute blast. Now, they are kind of hard to come by. I think you can still find them. They are about $300, as all things are these days, if you get this much titanium in M390. VDK does smaller runs. I know that if you do find one, finding one that's all black like this is difficult. He does make a couple of plain blade versions, and they also do this very similar knife in D2. Of course, I'm not a huge fan of D2 anymore. Don't get me wrong. It is excellent steel. I just did that already. So, when this one came across my radar in M390, I was all over it. That's about it. This is the VDK Talisman. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. And by the way, I know these videos are a little shorter, but I am working outside as Women Carry Knives is working from home right now. And so we're trying to give each other enough space and enough room. So we're just kind of doing this on the fly. I'm out here, I found some space, and I'm making it work. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all staying safe. Please like the video on your way out. If you have any questions about this or any of the knives you've seen on my channel, feel free to ask down in the comments below. We'll see you next time.